Hi, and welcome to The Bright Balloon, a podcast where I'm sharing bright ideas for your balloon business. My name is Sarah Meyer, and I'm a balloon business owner like you, and I love the creative side of what I do, but I really love the business side, which seems to be the part where most people struggle. So I'm here to help. Each week, I'm bringing you an episode full of bite-sized tips you can use to make improvements in your business. I want you to make more money, eliminate stress, and learn along with me as we grow our creative businesses together. Welcome to The Bright Balloon, presented by 17 Hats. Hello and welcome to this episode. We are catching up with Tiffany, who is the owner of Confetti Castle, and we have not spoken on this podcast for nearly 2 years. So the growth that her business has experienced in that time is amazing. She is sharing all the details about their many expansions in staff, in space, in offerings. We're talking a lot about rentals and marquee letters. A really good episode full of tips about growing without working more. I feel like so many times, myself included, the only path towards making more money is working more. And Tiffany is the expert in outsourcing and growing her team so that her business can grow without also growing her workload, the amount of time that she actually has to put in. So it's a great interview. Thank you to Premium Conwin for making these throwback episodes possible. As a thank you for her time and for sharing her knowledge, Tiffany will be receiving a new inflator courtesy of Premium Conwin. So thank you so much for coming on board as today's sponsor. And I can't wait for you to hear this interview with my friend Tiffany. Before we jump in, let's head over to the UGlue hotline for some great advice that sticks. Welcome to the UGlue hotline, where we discuss great advice that sticks, brought to you by Pro Tapes. If you have a question or some great advice to share, click the link in the show notes to call in and leave a voicemail.
Hello, this is Brittany from Her Story Balloons in Chicago, Illinois. My question is, I did a job recently where the place where I was setting up the atmosphere was very dry. There was virtually no humidity, and I was putting water on my clothes to keep the balloons from contracting too much static. So my question is, how do you prepare to set up in a place where it's going to be really dry air and there's a lot of electricity pretty much in the air? How do you prepare for that, and what's a good way of combating setting up balloons in a dry area? Thanks.
Hey, Brittany. Okay, just a couple of tips when working with static. I have only had it really bad one time. I was doing pop drops on New Year's Eve, and these are 36-inch balloons filled with confetti and smaller balloons, and they were inflated, they were hanging, and 3 of them just exploded out of nowhere. I still am not totally sure what happened or why. It was a total nightmare, but the only thing that made sense was static. I was in a ballroom that was fully carpeted. The air was dry. So my advice after that is that I always carry a can of static guard in my bag, specifically for New Year's Eve. I'm not sure why, but it seems like around here in Wisconsin, that is always when static is just out of control. When winter hits and maybe hotels haven't turned on their humidifiers yet. I'm really not sure, but I just got a can of spray static guard. I spray my clothes. I'll sometimes spray the carpeting. I don't typically spray the balloons, but that does cut down on my hair looking crazy and balloons sticking to me. The other thing that I would recommend is to bag your balloons. Make sure that you're bringing your balloons in some sort of a bag, because otherwise they're going to pick up all of the gross hair and lint and anything else that might be on the floor. So the quicker you can get them out of the bag and into the arrangement, or if they're just helium balloons, just out of the bag and set directly where they're going to go. Those have kind of been the only 2 issues I have had with static, other than the fact that it's just annoying and it makes your clothes look crazy and your hair look crazy, but that is just one of the effects of working with balloons. In general, it shouldn't really affect your balloons too much. I would say if you have a lot that are popping because of static, it's probably because your balloons are a bit overinflated. So I think having a nice soft balloon, that's going to stand up pretty well to any elements, even static electricity, but get yourself a bottle of static guard, throw some dryer sheets in your kit, and you should be good to go. Thanks for calling in. Pro Tapes is a leading manufacturer of specialty tape products like Pro Gaff, Pro Artist Tape, and our favorite balloon tape, U-Glue, which helps you create amazing balloon arrangements and decorations in less time. You can save 5% on U-Glue when you buy directly from Having a Party using code BRIGHT at checkout. Welcome back, the one and only Tiffany from Confetti Castle. It has been a while since we have chatted. And
how long has it been? Somebody was asking me today and I was like, I don't know. I feel like it's been 2 years.
Yeah, definitely over a year. I want to say like 18 months. It's been a long time because I've seen you in person like several times since then.
I know.
And like at the time I didn't know you. I was like, oh, I'm nervous, a new person, but now we're friends.
Yeah.
And you have had a ton of growth in your company. So it's going to be a great follow-up episode to hear about not only what you've done to grow, but how you're not dying, like how you can actually sustainably do that.
Yeah.
Especially because you have added a cotton candy cart. You've started you designed a balloon. Like you've been doing lots of different things, still traveling, still teaching. And we're going to talk about how you juggle it all. So let's get into it with a quick update on your actual business. Like you were big last time, but now what's the scale of your business?
Well, from year 3 to year 4, that which just ended in September, we went from like almost $700,000 in sales to 1.2 million this last year. So that's like numbers growth. Obviously, that's a lot. But crazy enough, I'm curious to see at the, when the full year is over, to see how many jobs we did, because I definitely feel like we did less jobs and just had a much higher ticket invoices, and definitely have like raised that. And also we raised our minimums and stuff, not a ton, but I think that there's a lot of people that just see us and they think, oh, they're not going to do my job that's this small, which isn't necessarily the case, but it's okay too. If they do feel that way, like that's fine.
So even on your schedule or your scale, you're still offering like grab and go pickups and helium bouquets, right? You love the small stuff. Like you say, there's a lot of money in the small stuff, right?
There's so much money in the small stuff. And also just think about it, like every single day. I'm like, if every single day we do this much in sales, then it's paying for all of my expenses. I'm not going in the hole every day. Not like we're really going in the hole, knock on wood, but it's like every day you're selling, even if it's just $500 worth of stuff a day, or even $300 worth of stuff a day. $300 worth of stuff a day times 30 days is still what, $9,000, right? Yeah, fast math.
Yeah.
And so if you're selling, and then you're going to have those days where you're doing 5,000. So as long as you're doing that, the ones I don't like, I don't want to have somebody working 7 days a week. However, every day that it does happen, it's like we're paying for everything. So that's really what I have to look at as like small things, not like this huge number.
Right. I've even thought about that. My grab and go garlands, I mean, they haven't slowed, but it's almost like I self-sabotage. It's like, how big of my business, how much am I really making from that? Because it feels so easy. And then when I crunch the numbers, I'm like, oh, I'm making enough to pay like my employee's salary for the month. So like that, or, like I've started outsourcing a lot, and it's like, oh, grab and go garlands pay for all of my podcast editing. So it's totally worth it. Like I think when you start aligning sales with actual expenses, suddenly you're like, that's $60 paid my electric,
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I think that too. I'm like, okay, this thing, it's like, is it kind of one of those small things? I'm like, these 2 bouquets, is there an expense? Yes. However, is it going to pay for the electricity in the office? Yes, it will.
Yeah.
So it's definitely one of those things where I'm thinking about those that fit all the time. And so we just don't have a lot of days where there's nothing. There's very few days where there's absolutely nothing. Even if it's something small, I still take it as a win.
So what is your staff situation to be able to do that much in sales? Like how many full-timers, part-timers, what do you have going on over there?
We only have 4 full-time. So full-time is myself, my husband, Heather, my assistant has been with me, you've met her, and Ashley. Ashley is one that she's like my youngest employee. She started when she first started just over a year ago. I hired her and just wanted her just to clean the office on Mondays and do inventory like you had. And I was like, that's all I need. And now this girl works full-time. And
is she the one who's always in all the reels? She's always cute.
She's a trip. And this was her very first job. And she has gotten, when she started, so, I'm open about what I paid. Like they could listen to this, but it really doesn't matter. But she has basically gone up in pay $5 an hour in a year.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that just goes to show that I value her, even though like she didn't know anything, but she's grown so much. And I'm like, I could pay her more. Like I can pay her more. She's worth it. And, so there's just four of us full time. And then we have part-time admin. We have part-time, two people part-time that blow up balloons. And then we have two people that will come in at, like on bigger install days jobs on the weekends and such. But I am definitely hiring another full-time person when the year rolls around. We met some people. We interviewed a bunch of people a couple months ago, 2 months ago, and then the person we loved the most didn't come in the first day.
Oh my
So it put
gosh. After
all
you
of us,
hired them?
yeah, it put us all like had this really dumb excuse. And I was like, it put us all in its place. And I was like, you know what? We're just gonna wait now till after the holidays.
Yeah.
Because now I'm just like, let's just make it. We're gonna get through it. And I will get extra help from other places if I need to. And also we just won't take as much. And that's what we're doing.
And you've physically grown in size since then too, right? Do you have
Yeah.
additional vehicles?
No, we have three actually, but one of them just sits in the parking lot. We don't really use it. It's one that's not branded. It's like one of our older vans.
Okay.
And it sits there. It's like for an emergency in case my husband keeps saying like, let's just sell it. And I'm like, no, let's just keep it in case something has to go in the shop.
Yeah, you get a flat
Nobody
tire.
ever drive it. And we really pretty much need to just sell it. If I bought something else, which I think we're going to have to do because of something that we have coming, I think we're going to have to buy another new vehicle next year. This year, whatever, 2024. So we still have two vans basically and a box truck. And so, but as far as our office, we've doubled in size. So we have gone from about 3,200 square feet to 6,400 square feet.
And was that the commercial suite next door to you?
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen a lot of people do that lately. That seems like a kind of a nice hack of like buy in a strip mall or in a business park and then kind of have that option to expand instead of moving completely, instead of getting a freestanding building, knowing if you outgrow it, you literally have to vacate. That idea of expansion is nice.
Yeah, I mean, it was good for us because I just kept saying like, so we had a neighbor when we moved in, he outgrew really fast. We were not ready to grow yet. Then another neighbor moved in. They moved out fast. I don't know what happened. Then another neighbor moved in and I told the landlord, I was like, all right, this time, if this person moves out, we're moving in.
Yeah.
And the rent increased, but I think our rent would have increased anyways. This is one of those times where it's like, should we have just bought a place but this I still feel like gives me so much flexibility. And I mean, should we have bought a place investment wise for the whole thing? Yes, probably so. However, how would we know what we would actually need? You know what I mean? Like we still might need more space at some time.
Right. And hindsight is 2020.
Hard
it's hard to be like, oh, I'm totally going to buy this 10,000 square foot warehouse because I just know my balloons are going to be a huge success. Like, what if you hate it? What if you're like, actually, I don't like doing this job?
Yeah. And I think we're pretty in now. And I don't see us like stopping except when it's time to retire, but I'm working on those plans now already.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just, that's definitely a thing that I think about all the time is should we have done that? But, right now I'm good where we're at. And I feel like what will happen in the next year will depend on should we really buy something for the next few years that we could also then have as part of the business to sell. But that is going to be a big depending on what we have coming, which I'll tell you now. So we are, and you and I have talked about this privately, but that we are getting our own marquee letters.
Mm-hmm.
And it is for a multitude of reasons. But one of the benefits of this is I'm currently talking to one of our sons, the one that is just turned 30. He's been in sales and mortgages for 6 or 7 years now. And you know what that business is like. And I've thrown it out there, like teased a little bit about like, well, you could just come, and I'm not giving this business to anyone. Like no one is just going to get it for free. I don't feel like that's right or fair to any of the other kids or to us.
Yeah.
However, if you want to take some ownership, I mean, I'm not going to be like, hand me this amount of money right now, but like, a buy-in or something. So we're actually meeting about that soon. And part of the marquee thing is that we're going to need more help with that. So it would be a good time for him to come in. So we're meeting and, I'm hopeful about that. I don't know how it all will work out, but it's at least time to start having those conversations.
Yeah. I'm getting mine too in a couple months. I'm a little nervous. I really had a knee-jerk reaction. I bought them on the fly. I was like, enough. Something happened. And I was like, I'm done. Like I am done. And like you
Uh-huh.
said, there's a lot of things and nothing was like, no one wronged me. Like it was just like little things like I'm waiting here or I lost this job here or my clients are just frustrated that they're having to go to two vendors for one simple install. And I'm an hour and a half away from my alpha lit. So I don't think they'll be happy, but I don't think they're really going to be impacted. Like people aren't paying an hour and a half delivery fee for a three-letter word. Like they're just not, it's
Yeah.
it's crazy. So, but I am getting a little bit overwhelmed at like, wait, how am I gonna wheel those in and who's gonna pick them up? And like it definitely is more of an expansion than I was anticipating. Plus, I don't have the space to
Yes.
store them. So I'm gonna have to get a storage unit or something, but I'll
That's
figure
hard.
it
I mean,
out.
that's with we got the new space just knowing we would be busy, and sometimes we would have so much stuff in our warehouse that we had to get through Saturday before we could blow up Sunday because we just didn't have the space. And we're using hanging space, we're using the space. So, but with also another thing that we've added on a lot more of this last year is backdrops. And
Mm,
I know you've talked about it a lot, and it's just like money in the bank. I mean, you pay for
it's
it the
free.
first time you
Free
rent it.
money. Yep.
So it's like, is it a pain to go back sometimes? Yeah. Do we hate it sometimes? Yeah. However, I think that is between that. I think that's and raising just our invoice price, which goes hand in hand. I think those are the two single things that have kept us growing, even though we didn't do as many jobs.
Yeah.
You can't deny that money that's good. So, I just say to myself, like, okay, so we needed that more space for that. But now also with the marquee letters, it's like, the same thing. I haven't been 100% wronged or something like that. And it's actually going to be very hard because I'm good friends with the owner of our outlet. We started at the same time. However, I have to do it. I can't make any decisions for my business based on someone else. And I am doing that on a weekly basis. Not
Yes.
even a weekly basis, multiple times a week. My staff cannot be staffed until I know what their schedule is. I don't get their schedule for the weekend until Wednesday, sometimes Thursday.
Yeah.
For Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yes. And we're just like
I have
at their mercy because our
yeah,
balloons go on their stuff.
yeah. So, and then the other thing is that what people don't realize is like, yes, I love doing installs with them, everything like that. But it's also, if they are even a little bit running late, we run so tight on time because we do so many things back to back. But it's not even that. It's that if they are running a little bit late and we have to do our balloons and then we need to take some pictures after or whatever, a lot of times we don't even get to because we have to rush. If that happens, the chain reaction is we are the last ones leaving. So even though we were not the ones, we were there ready and they hit traffic, we are the ones that are the last ones pulling out.
Yeah,
And that
absolutely.
is embarrassing, and which seems petty, but it's like, that's embarrassing to me. Is like, I was here and I had to rush. And now I'm the last one leaving as people are walking in the party.
Yeah.
And that bothers me.
Yeah. Nope. I agree.
So I'm just in that spot. So yes, is an investment? Yes. Will I make my money back quickly? Yes.
Did you do
I
any
will.
math? Did you do any like calculations? You are a bit more business savvy than I. My calculations was I'm gonna buy this. I did no
My
thinking.
calculations are buying and knowing exactly what the cost is and knowing we have line items on our invoices on how much balloons we do, like just regular garland. And then we have a whole line item that says how much balloons are we doing on marquee letters. So it might not be alphalytic. We have a couple other companies we work with, but on marquee letters, I know how much balloons people bought last year to go with that. Over $300,000
Yeah.
was just in balloons. So then they had to pay for the letters.
Yep.
So to me, and obviously, will some clients go to them? Yes. Will some clients stay with us and get letters and balloons? Yes. Do I want to go and just be a marquee business? No. I really care about the clients that I have now that are getting balloons. And do I feel like I can upsell a lot easier? I mean, I upsell it easy anyways, but can I upsell it even easier knowing they can get it all from me? Absolutely.
Yeah. And I
So
feel like
I know I
I
feel like I'm going to make my money back, and I want to make 100% of my money back, including the extra staff and the actual products. And I'm only even spending the thing on marketing, but those two things, I want to make it back in 8 weeks. And
8 weeks?
8 weeks.
Oh my gosh. I'm hoping to break even the first year.
Oh my God. No, I'm making it back in 8 weeks.
Okay. Well, maybe I should change mine. Again, I did zero calculations and that's how I do things.
I think 8 weeks, if you think about, okay, so let's say 8 weeks, that means if you break it down, let's say it costs you $25,000.
Yeah.
Okay. That's really what it's costing me, about 25,000. Even if we add 30,000 in, let's just say 30,000 for the other little extra expenses. 30,000 over 60 days is $500 a day. That's $3,000 a week in marquees.
Yeah.
That's 30 letters, not including delivery and installation. If I just include, that's 30 letters a week. Can I do that? Abso-freaking-lutely.
Okay, wait. So slow it down. How much are you renting each letter for then?
I think I need to go and because I want to be competitive with them. I don't want to undercut them. Could I? Yes, absolutely. But I don't want to do that because I don't believe in that. And for balloons, so why would I do that in another way? But with the installation, everything like that, it's going to end up being about $100 each. If you add in the other things
with installation and delivery. Okay.
Yeah. So if you're just saying that, it's okay, can I make 30 letters a week?
Yes. It just seems like there have been a lot of situations where they come to me wanting marquees and no balloons. And I'm like, I don't do that. And there have been a lot of situations where they come to me wanting marquees and balloons, but then their budget is spent on the marquees. I feel like there's never been a situation where they go to them to get marquees and balloons and then decide just to go with balloons. It's always I'm the one losing the job because they want the marquees. They want it to say the name of their company or their wedding or whatever. The balloons are kind of like the optional add-on. So the way I see it is I'll just get the whole pie, and not in a greedy way, but there have been so many jobs where I can't fulfill the job because Alpha isn't available or they want the marquees and they wanted the balloons, but the balloons are too expensive. So they're going to get the marquees. So now at least in my immediate area, I'm hoping that they're successful. But yeah, that's definitely a big project for my year.
One other part of my plan that I think you should just have in the back of your mind is how many people ask us to donate stuff like balloons.
Exactly.
You know how I feel about it, right? I'm this is my bargaining chip.
Yep.
You pay for the balloons. I'll throw in a couple letters because guess what? That doesn't cost me.
Yeah.
So to me, that's going to be my new bargaining chip is with not even I need to bargain because I don't have to give anything away. But for me, I feel this is a better way to utilize what I have and my funds and my time because also the labor that goes into the balloons. So it's hey, you want balloons and letters for your charity event? Great. Okay, guess what? You can have buy one, get one free letters or whatever.
Yeah.
Me, it's going to be, that is going to help, I think, my bottom line.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, because even with balloons, I was talking about this the other day with someone. It's there's nothing I can donate that's not going to cost me at least $200. The cost of the balloons, the cost of the labor, getting them there, free is not, balloons cost money. The marquees honestly don't. Replacement light bulbs, but it's really just, it's labor and it's time. And in a pinch, I could do it. But the balloons, it's not costing me nothing. Why would I just be taking money out of my pocket to support your event when you're paying for the food and the bar and the band and everybody else? Balloons aren't free. I seriously think people think they're just 10 cents and we just come and deliver them. They have no concept.
I definitely, one thing that just to mention that if people aren't doing this, they should be, is that don't be afraid when somebody does ask you for something. And if you are interested in doing it, number one, don't ever feel like you have to because they're going to go to you. And then if you don't do it next year, they're going to go to somebody else.
Yeah.
So one thing you need to think about is do not be afraid to ask them who else is donating 100% of their services.
Yeah.
And if they don't tell you everybody else, well, then why should it be me?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So don't be afraid to ask that. Don't be afraid to say, oh, so the venue is free and the bar is free and the food is free. Wow. No,
right.
You do not. So do not be afraid to ask those questions. If they don't want to answer you, then it's a hard no.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great tip.
Are you ready to take your balloon business to the next level? Look no further than Having a Party Wholesale, your ultimate destination for all things balloons. At Having a Party Wholesale, they're not just a distributor, they're your partner in success. With the latest and greatest in balloon innovations, they're on the cutting edge of new products that will wow your clients. From top brands like Tuftex, Jamar, Anagram, Ellie's, Premium Conwin, and more, they've got the widest selection to fuel your creativity. Elevate your balloon business with premium quality balloons and accessories that'll make every event unforgettable. Join the successful league of professional balloon artists who shop at haveinaparty.com.
Okay, so you've expanded into the marquees. You've also expanded into a cotton candy cart. How has that been?
I did.
You did a little mini brand too. It's not its own umbrella.
Yeah, It is. And I did that because we just got 2 big popcorn machines, which we haven't put out yet. We're going to put them out at a party next week. Just because just the same thing. Like, I don't want to be the everything. I'm not going to be in tent rentals. I'm not going to be in table and chair rentals. I'm not going to do all that stuff. But some things like this is, the clients that are going to add on our cotton candy cart are the clients that are using our other rentals or using our backdrops. They're using all these other things.
Yeah.
So why not have somebody be there while the party is going on, and they're still there when we have to pick up. And here is this product that is, when you look at the numbers of cotton candy, is the first party we did, we made all of our money back.
Yeah, because it's just the sugar, right?
It's the sugar, the machines, even the cart. The first party, the numbers that we charge are crazy. You look on our website, we have a whole page for it. The numbers are nuts. Like the what you can make is crazy. Is it something we rent out every day? No, but however, it pays for itself. I have it when I want it, and it's making money. So that's, it's not costing me like everybody knows how to do it. So it's not like costing me more money to have it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And if it's like
it's creating
hours, if it's creating hours for your employees that maybe need them, I don't know, your employees probably don't need hours, but there are situations where it's like, I can't justify a full-time person, but if you kind of introduce a new service, maybe you're not making bank off of it as like an owner, but if it's paying someone else's full-time salary and then they're available for you for the stuff you really need them for, that's kind of a tactic to use as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Anything else? Have you added any other significant rental items?
No, just backdrops and a lot of customized backdrops that we have like a partnership with a local printing place that I talk about all the time, Red Eye, which she actually ships stuff all over the US now because I talk about them so much. They're the same people that wrapped our trucks. And then really not anything. I mean, like we got one of those candy dispensers, has 6 glass candy machines. And that's like really probably part of confections, which I probably need to post it on there too. And really that's it. We haven't gotten any other new rentals that are not like outside of the norm.
Yeah. You're not doing the bounce houses.
Heck no. That insurance is crazy. That's why. And I understand people add the bubble house and stuff. Allie did and stuff like that. And I have other friends that have, and I'm like, going and doing cotton candy is one thing. Like they're doing something. Going and sitting inside of a bubble house and zipping it up and down is not happening. I don't, because the thing is, I have to say to myself, if somebody's sick, something happens and I have to go do cotton candy, I will get down with that. If somebody gets sick and I have to go sit in a bubble, it's canceled. That's it. It's not happening. So I have to see myself doing it. If I'm not going to see myself, it's just like I say all the time, you will see me be the one that scrubs the toilets at the office because that's okay. But you will not see me sitting in a bubble house. It's not going to happen. No chance.
That's amazing. Oh, so one of the things that we talked about just kind of in a text chain was what you mentioned earlier. You've done fewer jobs this year and made more money. And I think a lot of that is efficiency and building a business that doesn't solely depend on you. And I've been kind of guilty of that for a long time, but
you've been way better about it this year.
This year I have, yes. I still haven't really grown my staff. And I think people hear oh, she's a control freak. I'm really not. I just hate managing people. I really don't want people coming in every day and me having to know what they're doing. So I've kind of gone the other extreme. I have a lot of virtual people working for me. I have the people that do come in are completely self-sufficient. They come in and do their thing without me because I'll forget to prepare for them. So it's I need them to be kind of these turnkey positions. So I've outsourced. I have a virtual assistant now who's doing sales and emails and kind of keeping track of that stuff. Kate still comes in, inflates everything. I'm still doing the majority of the installs, but even a podcast editor, that was a huge step for me. So what other areas what have you outsourced? I mean, because you're kind of the outsourcing queen in terms of you always say what? If it doesn't make you money or make you happy, you're not going to do it.
Make me money or bring me joy, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. So what are things that you've done to be able to scale without taking on a ton more work?
I mean, really hard training, not depending on myself to how you said, get stuff ready for staff. Everybody has access to the calendar. So they know what's coming up. They can look on that calendar, see what's coming up. If I'm not there, they know where to pick up the pieces. They know, do not depend on me to come in and do something because if you're doing that, it's not going to happen.
Yes. See, that's my example. People are I pull all the balloons so that my inflator can blow them up.
You're not doing.
Exactly. I'm just pay them more to pull the balloons themselves. I'm not pulling anything. Or like if I run out of balloons, I need her to know what to do in a pinch. Like make the creative decision. It'll be fine. It's like,
Yeah,
I
I
need
mean,
someone like that.
and that's the other thing, giving them autonomy to to make those decisions, I think is really important. Obviously, you have to check in with them and like, you're still like, I'm still there all the time. I'm still like, but just do not ask me every single question. So that's not technically outsourcing, but it kind of is because it's I'm trying not to micromanage. Are there certain things I'm still going to micromanage? Yes. Are there certain things that I'm like, what are you thinking? Absolutely, all the time. However, sometimes you have to let it happen. The other day, like I had somebody made something and I knew it was not the way. And I let them make it. It only took them 5 minutes. And then afterwards I said, okay, like I see why you did this. However, if we do it this way, do you understand why? That worked because then I'm like, oh, I never thought about it that way. So those kinds of things, it's a different way to outsource. But as far as like other things, I've always said like the bookkeeping is not happening. I'm not doing that. The accounting, that's no way, no chance. Still having somebody come and clean my office. They clean my house and my office because everybody keeps it clean-ish, but like, and do I still scrub the toilets in between when she comes? Yes. But like, we don't need to spend time doing that stuff. I don't need to spend time doing that stuff. Making sure that like all of our systems work, like our inventory system, we actually, one of the ways that I'm going to save time, energy, and labor is we just reduced the number of colors we have by over 30.
Whoa.
So, and I don't want to say colors, but
I think I only have 30.
But we had like 4 different colors of blush. We had 3 or 4 different colors of baby pink. Because back when, a while ago, when we couldn't get stuff, you had all these things and then you just get in the habit of like, you're still ordering it.
Yeah.
And we just can't order one line we have to order the full line because of how we make our stuff. So just saying, okay, we separated all that stuff. We took it completely off the inventory sheet and everybody knows like for grab and goes, especially, that is your go-to first, the pile of stuff. And that has reduced how much time it takes inventory by 2 hours. That's a big
awesome.
deal.
Yeah.
So things like that. So what else have I been doing that's like, I know there was something else I was going to tell you that graphic design. I hired somebody I pay on a weekly basis to do graphic design. And it can be graphic design as in, like when I need stuff when I have presentations, like I'm, teaching for Float and myself and Allie were teaching together. We are not the ones, like we do not need to spend our time putting that stuff together. When I taught at Balloon Coach, I gave them all the information and she went through and added all my stuff. Like could I do it? Yes. But there are more things that I could be doing that make me more money or give me time off. And that's how I look at it. Can everybody afford to have like a graphic designer basically on staff? No, but is it worth it to me? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm having her do like projects for my son who's in college. You know what I mean? Like he was running for his program that he was running for president. And so I'm like, hey, this week I'll give her X amount of projects. I'm like, this week on another project is my son needs pins and like flyers designed. Okay, fine. Takes her no time to do it. So stuff like that, like I'll just have her do. So that's like a constant. That's a big one for me.
Yeah.
To have that stuff done. Like care cards. And yes, people can use Canva, all that stuff like that. I just don't have any interest. I don't want to do it.
Yeah. I read this book and it's called Buy Back Your Time. And there's a calculation in there to figure out your buyback rate, essentially what you're paid from your company divided by this formula. And it gives you some clarity of like, if your buyback rate is $40 an hour, if you can pay someone less than $40 an hour to do it, you should do that. Because they said one of the downfalls is like oversaving, and you should be spending all your time working in these zones where, and I liked this approach. It wasn't just where you make the most money, but it was where you make the most.
What's the book called again?
It's called Buy Back Your Time.
Okay.
And it's staying in the areas that make you a lot of money, but also make you like give you energy. Like the things you love doing where you lose track of time and they don't even feel like work. So if you can just stay in that zone, it's worth every penny that you can pay to offload the other stuff. But I like that it actually gave like a formula of like what is realistic. Because he said a lot of these things you're not going to be able to afford at the start, but that's why you want to grow your business, to make more money, because then you can buy back more of your time instead of just working harder to make more money that you can't even spend because you have no time.
Well, that's the other thing too, is like for at work now, good example, like Ashley's making more money or Heather's making more money than anybody else. It works for me. And so with that said, Like there are definitely tasks that I will catch her doing and I will look at her and I will say, that is not in your pay grade. Like that is below your pay grade. This is not a job for you. This is a job for, and I
Yeah.
will literally tell
Because
her,
it's almost
put
like
it
she's
down.
wasting your money at that point.
It is. I say all the time, I'm like, this is not a you job. And I just straight up, I have to be like real upfront about it. The other day I walked in and she was like putting away balloons she had like 10 other things that like could be doing. And she's like, well, it's kind of a mess. I'm like, that's okay. Ashley's going to be here in a little bit. This mess is not bothering me at all. What's bothering me is you doing this instead of being in your office doing the things that are going to make us money. This is not. You putting this stuff away is not making us $1.
Yeah.
Your pay is based on making us money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you looking to grow the number of businesses you're working with? From the small retail shop doing a grand opening in your downtown to the large Fortune 500 that has a fulfillment center or a warehouse or a large office building in your community. On the Balloon Suite blog, you can find the details on how to find and approach businesses of all types and of all ranges and size so that you can grow your sales and grow your revenue per order. Come on over to the Balloon Suite blog to learn more at balloonsuite.com.
Can we talk about your husband too? You and your husband are both employed full-time by your business. So your exit plan is a little bit different. I talked with Tommy and Scott. They are both, they're a couple that both work full-time in their business too. I think that's hard to think about selling one day because you're like, okay, are we going to sell for enough that we're paying both of our retirements? Or are we like, what is your plan there in terms of exit planning? Your husband's kind of already retired, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. We're kind of in a different situation because he's going to be 60. And this year, I don't want to work this hard myself. I want to spend some of his later years, like just hanging out and doing stuff we want to do, which we get to do. But for him, like, I don't want him to definitely like 3 more years and that's it for him. Like, that's it. And so, but the thing is that we both have old money that's like set for retirement right now. Like, I don't pay him a weekly salary. He says he wants $100 a week. I think that's a little ridiculous. So I give him $500 every 2 weeks. But because we don't need the Social Security because of the other retirement, like Social Security isn't going to exist in my mind for myself. We don't need that. Then basically I'm just paying him out of my pay because we don't need all of the other things that come with a paycheck. He has 0 bills. So really that money, I don't even know what he spends it on. I don't even think anything. I don't truly know. And so that's it. That's all that he wants. So we're in just a different situation because he is getting paid more in the scheme of things because he has not one other thing to worry about. Not a grocery, anything.
Do you see yourself selling one day? And you mentioned maybe one of your kids, or I think that's hard. Like you and the Balloons by Tommy and like those of you that are at that scale, it's like, who are you going to sell to? Like there's not like a bunch of balloon companies looking to acquire a multi-million-dollar balloon business. Like they just can't do it. So I'm curious what your plan is there.
Well, it's either which leads into another thing. It's either to sell the business slowly to one of the kids, which would be most likely this one I'm talking about, because our youngest one, he's got a very specific goal. The other one's got kids and the other one is like in restaurants. So it would be this one child. And whether it's like a slow ownership where we're like slowly passing it along, if I thought for a minute Heather would ever want to buy it, I would like work something out with her, but that is not something she's interested in. So it's just going to be either that or we just sell everything and like the business ends is always an option. Like I have multiple degrees. Do I want to do something? What I would probably do then would be like some kind of consulting or have some sort of a position, hopefully within a manufacturer. And, that's one of the reasons that building these relationships now are really important with me with like manufacturers and things like that. Because if I want to stay in this realm of work, but I don't want to do what I'm doing, but I have to stay relevant, like those relationships are really important.
Yeah, I've started thinking about that too. It's like, do I need to run a balloon business my entire life? I'm not so sure. A couple years ago, I would have been like, yeah, for sure. I love this. And I do, but I also am now kind of open to like next steps. And I kind of see it in other people. It's like, oh, you used to have a balloon company. Now you do this. That's kind of like balloon world adjacent because it's such a nice community. I think it's really like, we saw this happen when Qualitex, filed Chapter 11 or whatever. A lot of their employees found different jobs. And like, someone I was personally friends with was a social media manager. So now she works at a different company that's not at all related to balloons. And it's like, oh my gosh, I might never see you again. Like it's weird to take a job outside of the industry. So I totally relate and understand that idea of like, what's my next step, but still in this world somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I think there's lots of opportunities where it's like not necessarily like I have to go be a full-time employee somewhere, but I feel like if I keep building the relationships with other balloon artists and with other people, like people will lean on you for things, and there is value in that. That's like goes along with how people have come here to like learn from us. Or I have gone and done special projects for Tough Techs and, for other things like that. And I'm hopefully going to start doing something with Click. And, it's so those kinds of things, I feel like those are all part of like the big plan. So sometimes when they're like, oh, you're going to this thing again, you're going to this teaching. It's like, yeah, because that's part of my long game. It's not even game. It's like my long-term goals are to still be in this business because I have good relationships, but doing something maybe a little bit different.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I get that. That's totally my hope too.
Yeah.
Or if I have a child and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how anyone has 2 kids. I can't do this. Then I'll figure out something. But yeah, that is interesting. I'm glad you talked about that because I think there are people too that they get, much earlier, they decide just like running the business isn't for them and they become like full-time ringers, they fly around the country helping with big jobs and they're always on call to be rigging experts, or they come in to do crazy twisting jobs. And like, that's totally fine as well. Like that could be a retirement or that could be like your now plan. Like, I don't want to run a business. I want to keep my corporate job and have the flexibility to travel and help on all of these cool jobs and just be a workhorse. Like there's plenty of people that do that as well.
Oh yeah, there are for sure.
Hey listeners, before we wrap up today's episode, let's talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Balloon Guild. Do you ever see amazing balloon decor online and wonder, how did they make that? The Balloon Guild is revolutionizing the industry by standardizing recipes, SOPs, and offering unparalleled training. Their mission? To elevate balloon artists worldwide, ensuring efficiency, profitability, and unparalleled professionalism. For business owners and their teams, the Balloon Guild isn't just a resource, it's a game changer for growth and development. For me, it's been the ultimate shortcut in finally getting things out of my head and onto paper, so I'm not making things up on the fly, and so my team can work together to create consistent, fast decor. Visit their platform today at theballoonguild.com or by using the link in the show notes. New recipes and resources are released every month.
Well, cool. Well, let's wrap this up. Where's the next place we can see you? This episode is going to come out the first week of March. So Floats in like a couple weeks?
Yeah, Float should be right here. And then Allie from Charming Garlands and I were teaching together 2 different classes. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm also going to be teaching a few more times this year. I will be at Balloon Boss Summit. Right this moment, it has been announced, but it will be by then. So Balloon Boss Summit. And then I will also be teaching for Tough Techs a few times. We're still like working out the details of all those things. And so that's always good. I love doing that. And that's really it. I mean, those are the things that I have planned. I mean, you can only do so much teaching without, it's like, are you teaching the same things over and over? And it's always trying to like do new stuff, learn new stuff. But, the business side of things are definitely like a strong, business and systems are good for us, for me to be able to teach other people.
Yeah. Well, cool. This is the first episode I've recorded too, where I'm going to be like time traveling because we're recording this in December. I'm very pregnant. And by the time this comes out, I will have a baby.
I know. You're going to have a little baby.
And then I'm going to go to Float.
Are you going to?
I don't know. I bought a ticket, but we shall see. It's 3 weeks postpartum, so doubtful, but it's also like an hour from my house. So I definitely want to try to swing by for like a lunch or a dinner and just see people because it's very rare that all of my friends are so close to where I live. So I do want to make it.
I understand.
Well, congratulations to all of your success. I'm sure we will all be following you along on Instagram is the best place, Confetti Castle.
Yeah, Instagram, Confetti Castle. If anybody ever wants any like pricing resources or anything like that, they're on my website. Like we don't hide anything like that.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming back on for a follow-up. And I should also mention these episodes are courtesy of Premium Conwin. So they're going to be sending you a brand new inflator as a congrats and a thank you for your time.
Oh my gosh, I love, I'm an inflator snob, so that's good.
You can add it to your collection.
Add it to my collection. Yes, yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much and have a great
Thank
day.
you. Okay, thanks.
Thanks for listening. As usual, I tried to keep it bright and light. Our presenting sponsor is 17 Hats, the CRM I use to cut the chaos and manage my entire balloon business. From the lead capture form on my website to workflows and email templates, invoicing and grab-and-go garland automated bookings, it's all powered by 17 Hats, the best customer relationship management system for balloon businesses. There's even a 50% off coupon code waiting for you in the show notes wherever you're listening. I'll see you next week in another episode.